Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss all about gravitation. It means what is the force of attraction between two different bodies or many different bodies. इस फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन से हम लोग अब डिस्कस करेंगे कि सारे प्लैनेट्स जो सन के अराउंड घूमते हैं तो उसके पीछे रीजन क्या है, उन सारे प्लैनेट्स का पाथ कैसे होता है, क्या उनकी स्पीड हर जगह सेम होती है क्या अलग अलग होती है, और जो प्लैनेट्स घूमते हैं तो कौन से प्रिंसिपल का यहाँ पर एप्लीकेशन होता है, तो ऑन विच प्रिंसिपल ऑल प्लैनेट्स रिवॉल्व अराउंड द सन। ये सारी बातें हम लोग इस वीडियो में करने वाले हैं। तो दोस्तों, अगर अपना साइंटिफिक कैलेंडर देखा गया तो ये बात तो पक्की है कि अपने सोलर सिस्टम में बहुत सारे प्लैनेट्स हैं और प्लैनेट्स घूमते हैं अपने सन के अराउंड। लेकिन गैलीलियो ने बोल दिया था कि ये जो यूनिवर्स है वो यूनिवर्स जियोसेंट्रिक है, मतलब अपनी अर्थ सेंटर पे और सारी दुनिया अपने आसपास घूमती है। पर बाद में पता चला अपने साइंटिस्ट आर्यभट्ट ने उनके आर्यभट्टिया ये थीसिस में ट्रीटिस में बोल दिया कि सन इज एट द सेंटर एंड ऑल प्लैनेट्स इंक्लूडिंग आवर अर्थ रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड दैट सन इन सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट। तो 5वीं शताब्दी में ये सारा ऑब्जर्वेशन किया अपने आर्यभट्ट ने, इंडियन साइंटिस्ट इंडियन ऑब्जर्वर आर्यभट्टिया इन हिज आर्यभट्टिया ट्रीटिस। ईच एंड एवरीथिंग ही गिव कंप्लीट आइडिया, बहुत अच्छा ऑब्जर्वेशन करके सारी बातें बताई थी आर्यभट्ट जी ने। पर बाद में नियरली 1000 साल चले गए, कुछ नहीं डिस्कशन हुआ, कुछ नहीं ऑब्जर्वेशन हुआ, जस्ट एज अ ब्लैक स्पेस रह गया अपना ये डिस्कशन में। पर बाद में नियरली आफ्टर 1000 ईयर्स साइंटिस्ट कोपरनिकस केम। कोपरनिकस ने बता दिया कि नहीं, ये गैलीलियो ने बताया वैसा नहीं है, ये है अपनी जो सोलर सिस्टम है उसके सेंटर में सन है और सारे प्लैनेट उसके अराउंड घूमते हैं। फिर बाद में साइंटिस्ट आ गए टाइको ब्राहे, उन्होंने भी अपना अपना ओपिनियन दिया, ऑब्जर्वेशन बहुत सारे ऑब्जर्वेशन किए। उनका फॉलोअर फिर जॉनस केपलर, ये केपलर जी ने भी अपने ओपिनियन दे दिए, बहुत अच्छा स्टडी किया, बहुत ऑब्जर्वेशन किए, एंड एट लास्ट ही गेव conclusions, and those conclusions are nothing but Kepler's laws of planetary motion। वो क्या है सर फिर केपलर्स लॉज ऑफ प्लैनेटरी मोशन? ये प्लैनेटरी मोशंस के बारे में जो जो ऑब्जर्वेशन हुए, जो जो ऑब्जर्वेशन के बाद में पता चला, वो 3 स्टेटमेंट मतलब 3 लॉज है। ये जो प्लैनेट सन के अराउंड घूमते हैं, ये घूमने का जो पाथ है, वो पाथ के बारे में जो स्टेटमेंट दिया केपलर ने, वो स्टेटमेंट मतलब केपलर्स फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ प्लैनेटरी मोशन। क्या है स्टेटमेंट? ही स्टेट्स दैट एवरी प्लैनेट इन द सोलर सिस्टम revolves in elliptical orbit where sun is at one of the focus of that elliptical path। अब ये इलिप्स क्या होता है? इलिप्स को एक फोकस होता है या 2 फोकस होते हैं या 4 होते, इसके लिए हमें इलिप्स पहले मालूम करना चाहिए। तो व्हाट इज दैन इलिप्स? इलिप्टिकल पाथ मतलब कैसा पाथ? जब तक हम लोगों को इलिप्स पता नहीं चलता तब तक ये सारे लॉज बस लॉज ही रह जाते, बस एक स्टेटमेंट रह जाते, हमें कोई ज्यादा समझ में नहीं आता। तो दोस्तों, हम लोग ये इलिप्स के बारे में पहले सोचेंगे। ड्राइंग दिस इज व्हाट एक्स एक्सिस, let this is now our y-axis, and here let origin. Now to draw the ellipse in a very technical way, you take 2 pins and fix those 2 pins at the same distance from the center। 2 पिन ले लिए, या कौन सी भी बातें आप लोग अपने कंपास में जो आर्क निकालने के लिए पॉइंटेड डिवाइस रहता है उसका भी यूज कर सकते हैं। तो मान लो ये है 2 पिन्स आपने फिक्स कर दिया सेम डिस्टेंस पर, इट मींस दिस इज दैट द सेंटर ऑफ दीज 2 पिन्स। कितना भी डिस्टेंस ले लो, डोंट बॉदर अबाउट द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द सेंटर एंड द पिन, सेंटर एंड द पिन, बट this distance and this distance should be same। Now take a thread and tie that thread to this pin as well as to this pin. Length of the thread should be more than this distance. Mano, this position is as focus number 1 and this is focus number 2. If you take the thread with a length let this much, यहाँ ये इतनी लंबाई है थ्रेड की. The length of the thread like this. Now hook your pen or pencil in this thread and rotate the pen or pencil such that this thread should be in a tight position. So if you rotate the thread, if you rotate your pen, then pen will give you your shape as such. So here the thread should be tight and you will get the shape as such. It means that if you have a point let here, then the distance of this point from these two foci and the sum of these two distances, then that distance will always be constant, which means it means that here let point P, here let point Q, then distance F1Q plus F2Q is equal to F1P plus F2P. Why so? Because we have taken a thread. The length of the thread will always be constant. So wherever you move your pen or pencil with the thread is in a taut position, then length of the thread will not be changed, and that is why distance of any point from these two foci will have same distance. How is that? In any position, F1Q plus F2Q is equal to F1P plus F2P. This is the basic condition for the ellipse. So out of these two foci, our sun is at one position. Here is our sun, and all planets revolve around their own elliptical path. हर एक प्लैनेट का अपना अपना एक पाथ होता है, लेकिन सारे के सारे प्लैनेट्स सन के अराउंड घूमते समय they follow elliptical path. This is the first statement of Kepler, and that is why we say that Kepler's first law is about the path of the planet around the sun. Now in this ellipse, you need to remember that this is what the major axis. It is what? Major axis. And this distance is half of a major axis, so it is called a semi-major axis. Semi-major axis. It is usually equal to A. We use the letter A for this semi-major axis. It means that major axis is equal to 2A. So this major axis is equal to 2A. At the same time, the distance between these two positions on the y-axis called as a minor axis, and let it is 2B. Therefore, this half of the 2B, which is called as a minor axis, semi-minor axis. So it is the perfect half part. This line divides the ellipse into two equal parts. So let this is our A point, this is B point, this is let C point, it is D point. Here ACB path is equal to ADB path. Though path is same, planets should complete this half path and this half path in equal time. But observation saying something different. Observation saying that when the planet is at a larger distance, then that planet moves with a smaller speed. And when it comes close, then its speed increases. So the maximum distance point in our planet path is called as aphelion, or it is also called apogee. And here the point which is so close to the sun along the major axis is called as perihelion, or it is also called perigee. Perigee or perihelion, and farthest point aphelion or apogee. So this is the maximum distance point called apogee, closest distance point called perigee. So this is all about our ellipse, and one should remember all these things. Now we will go for our second statement of Kepler related to planetary motion. It is what about the paths of the planet while they revolves around our sun. Come on, now this is what called law of orbits, and now second one is related to area swept by line of force, line joining the center and the planet. When any planet revolves around this sun in elliptical path, then it is said that area swept by position vector of the planet from the sun sweeps out equal area in equal interval of time. It means that the planet here, let planet is here, it goes from this to this in particular time dt, or you may say time t. So in the same time t, that planet covers this much distance when it is at another position, and it is found that area swept by this radius vector in this position is equal to area swept by the radius vector of planet at this position. Hence aerial velocity is constant. So aerial velocity means the area swept by a position vector of a planet with respect to time, that is equal area swept in equal interval of time. Now the third statement of this Kepler related to planetary motion is regarding the time period of revolution. So if planet revolves around the sun in elliptical path, but period of that revolution is depend upon the semi-major axis of that ellipse. How is that? Square of the period of revolution is directly proportional to cube of semi-major axis of that elliptical path. So here capital T square is directly proportional to capital T square, directly proportional to your cube of semi-major axis. Semi-major axis is the distance of farthest position to the center of ellipse, or center of two foci, or it is equal to half of the major axis. So here some observations of the semi-major axis and periodic time. So if you do calculations by log table or by your calculator, then you will find that quotient of t square by a cube are as such, and these numbers are very close, very similar. You can have the numbers and you will have the calculator, then you can do the calculation of t square by a cube. चलो दोस्तों जाएंगे फिर आगे कुछ अलग सी बातें करने के लिए। दोस्तों ये क्वेश्चन हमारे दिमाग में तो हमेशा आता ही है और बहुत बचपन से हम लोग सुनते आ गए कि ये ऑब्जेक्ट हमेशा नीचे क्यों आता है, मतलब अर्थ के तरफ क्यों आता, तो रीजन है ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन। तो ये ऑब्जेक्ट जब नीचे आता तो उसका रीजन कौन है, तो रीजन है ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन। दोस्तों ये बोलने वाला है आइजैक न्यूटन। इन द 17th century, Isaac Newton told us that a very fundamental law, very fundamental force, that force is called as the gravitational force, and the law stated by Newton's related to that force called as the Newton's law of gravitation. So what is Newton's law of gravitation? It is stating that, it is saying that every particle of the matter attracts every other particle in the universe with a force which is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. So here, if we have any two masses, let mass m1 and that m2 and placed at some distance r, then according to Newton's law of gravitation, gravitational force is directly proportional to product of masses, means m1 m2, and inversely proportional to this r square. So here if we want to eliminate this proportional sign, तो हम लोग ले लेते एक constant, and that constant is called as, in this case, universal gravitational constant, and it is capital G. So this capital G is a constant which is not depend upon the medium between two bodies. It is same everywhere. On any planet, the value of capital G remains same. That is why it is named as universal gravitational constant. दोस्तों चलो जाएंगे आगे, पर सवाल आता है what is capital G? What is meant by capital G? Basically it is universal gravitational constant. पर फिर भी हमारे दिमाग में आ जाता कि ये ग्रेविटेशनल कांस्टेंट के, वो ग्रेविटेशनल कांस्टेंट तो है, लेकिन इसके अलावा ये इसका मीनिंग क्या होता है। दोस्तों इस मीनिंग को समझने के लिए हम लोग ले लेते दो सेम मासेस ऑफ 1 kilogram, and if they are placed at 1 meter distance, then there is some force of attraction. So numerical value of force of attraction between these two masses when placed at 1 meter apart is called as universal gravitational constant. So this is what the definition of universal gravitational constant. What is it? It is G is the force of attraction between two unit masses when they are placed at 1 meter apart. So its value is known as, and its unit should be remember, its dimension should be remember. So unit is Newton meter square per kilogram square, and dimensions तो ला सकते हम लोग। dimensions लेने के लिए ये सबके dimensions मालूम होने चाहिए। तो dimensions of Newton means force, 1 in mass, 1 in length, minus 2 in time. Here मीटर स्क्वायर मीन्स 2 in लेंथ, और नीचे किलोग्राम का स्क्वायर है, मतलब मास का पावर 2 आएगा। ये मास का पावर 2 ऊपर चले गए तो माइनस होगा, एंड हमें मिल जाएगा -2 + 1 एज -1। लेंथ 1 है, लेंथ 2 इधर है, तो मतलब लेंथ का पावर 3 होगा, एंड -2 विल बी the power of t. So these should be the dimensions of gravitational constant. Friends, Newton's law of gravitation तो मालूम हुआ. What is it? This is equal to G m1 m2 by r square, where capital G is universal gravitational constant, m1 m2 are masses, and r is the distance between those two masses. From this Newton's law of gravitation, we prove Kepler's laws. How is that? फ्रेंड्स, फर्स्ट लॉ तो ऑब्जर्वेशन से है कि देयर पाथ्स आर इलिप्टिकल, पर दूसरा लॉ है तो हमें जरा डिस्कस करना है। कौन सा लॉ? इक्वल एरिया इन इक्वल इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम, एरियल वेलोसिटी इज कांस्टेंट, एरियल वेलोसिटी इज कांस्टेंट। So to remember, to understand this, let this is to understand and to prove the second law, we will take our ellipse. Let this is the ellipse. And here is let the position of sun. Here is our perigee point. Here is our apogee point. And line joining this P point and A point is a major axis. Let planet is here, any planet. तो planet को अपने planet को अर्थ से ज्वाइन करने के बाद वो जो लाइन मिलेगी उसे कहते हैं हम एरियल, सॉरी उसे कहते हैं पोजीशन वेक्टर। So here position vector of the planet is this. Now in any time dt, छोटा सा टाइम, अगर यहाँ पर हम लोग इस प्लैनेट को अलाउ करते तो प्लैनेट मानो यहाँ पर चले जाएगा। तो प्लैनेट अगर वहां पर चले जाएगा तो हमारा कितना एरिया कवर होने वाला है? सो एरिया कवर्ड बाय दिस पोजीशन वेक्टर इज दिस मच। Let v is the velocity of the planet at the position, this one हम लोग उसे नाम दे देंगे कुछ। Let m is position and this is let n is another position, initial position m, final position n. If time between these two positions is very small and velocity is v, then we will say that distance mn is equal to velocity into time dt. Mn is the distance or base of this triangle. We'll get a triangle. SMP is a triangle whose base is Mn. So what will be the area? Area swept by this position vector of planet, let d delta A is equal to half of height into base. So height means let this is, and let us consider that this distance is r. So here r is a distance of a planet from the center of the sun, and it is the distance that is called as the base mn. But mn is equal to v into delta t. Therefore, area swept is equal to half of r into v into delta t. Friends, if delta t is taken to denominator of this, then it will be delta A by delta T. This is equal to half R into V. If mass of the planet is small m, let m is the mass of a planet, then its momentum P is equal to mv, or v is equal to p by m. We will put the value of v as a p by m in our formula of dA by dt. That will be delta A by delta T is equal to half R P by M. But here R is a position vector, P is a momentum, that is velocity, sorry, that is momentum vector, and therefore we say that this is the aerial velocity vector. So delta A vector by delta T is equal to half of R vector cross P vector divided by M. R vector cross P vector is known as, and that is what called angular momentum. Therefore, we get half of angular momentum divided by M. In short, we can write this as aerial velocity is equal to half of L by M. If M is constant and angular momentum of any planet in the solar system will be constant, then aerial velocity will also be constant. But doubt may come in our mind that how will that L be constant? Angular momentum constant कैसे हो सकता है? Friends, in linear motion, we know that F is equal to ma. It means it is rate of change of angle linear momentum with respect to time. Similarly, in rotational motion, torque is equal to I alpha, and it is same as that of this, means analogical. Linear momentum is replaced by angular momentum, and therefore we get rate of change of angular momentum is equal to torque. So if torque acting on the system means external torque, no doubt this torque is always external torque. If external torque is equal to 0, then dl by dt will be equal to 0. L तो 0 नहीं है, क्योंकि L होता है प्रोडक्ट ऑफ मास, वेलोसिटी एंड रेडियस. तो ये L अगर 0 नहीं है तो फिर वो होता है कांस्टेंट. कौन सी चीज कांस्टेंट होती है? L होता है mvr. Mass of the planet is not equal to 0. Planet don't be at rest. Planets are always in motion, means v is not equal to 0, and their distances from the sun is also not equal to 0, and hence angular momentum here non-zero, but it will remain constant. As a result of that, one can say v and r, the product of v and r will be constant. How is that? If we have a, let this is ellipse, let this is the path of any planet in our solar system, and let sun is at this focus. This is the position of sun, and our planet is let here, and planet let here. So this point we know called as the perihelion, and here aphelion. So here let point A. So distance of this aphelion point r suffix a, and here distance of the perihelion is r suffix p. It is very crystal clear that distance of alien point is greater than distance of perihelion point. But we said that what v and r should be constant, because if we want to keep capital L constant, m का तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, m तो कांस्टेंट होता ही है, फिर कांस्टेंट क्या होना चाहिए, v एंड r का प्रोडक्ट सेम होना चाहिए, एंड देयरफॉर हियर to be v and r constant, it means v1 r1 should be equal to v2 r2. It is clear that velocity at aphelion r at aphelion is equal to v at perihelion and r at perihelion or perigee. So if ra is greater than rp, if RA is greater than RP, then it is clear that VA is less than V at perihelion. And it is known as that when the distance is very small, force is very large and velocity increases. So velocity at aphelion means velocity at apogee is very small as compared to velocity at perigee. So as distance changes, velocity of the planet changes. So from this video, we have to remember that angular momentum of the planet in our solar system is always constant. Friends, one more thing to remember, that velocity at closer distance is larger than velocity at larger distance. So this is what about the application of angular momentum to understand the velocity of planet at different positions. आने वाले दूसरे वीडियो में देखेंगे हम लोग न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन and that law in vector forms and the application of that Newton's law of gravitation to solve numericals in objective type examination. So please keep watching the next video as well. इस वीडियो को देखते समय आपको अगर ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो लाइक सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, तो आप लोगों को अगले वीडियो का नोटिफिकेशन आएगा और अपना अगला वीडियो मिस नहीं होगा. थैंक यू.